Hello my friends, I even have some of the good news for today. If we speak about the front lines, it seems like Ukraine intensified the strikes on Oleksiivka village, which is next after Andriivka. So just recently, Kindrativka and Andriivka were liberated, so now Ukraine is jamming the Russian army in Oleksiivka. I have the information about it coming from the front lines. So there are two of the counterattack vectors. I hope you can see. One is going from Andriivka and through this road. The other one is from this direction. Ukraine tries to jam Russian army in Oleksiivka as Ukrainian army did in Kindrativka. Yeah, sorry for a little misinformation yesterday. There were 3 battalions in Kindrativka, not brigades. Brigades are way bigger, so the parts of the brigades, so like 155th Brigade, the part of it was in Kindrativka village, and later on Ukraine encircled the part of the brigade. Okay, sorry, maybe I confused someone with yesterday's update, but anyways, let's go back to the main topic, Oleksiivka. So the problem for the Russian army here, that there are just 2 roads which are leading to and from Oleksiivka. And the northern side here, well, it's kind of the difficult terrain to go through, especially with some of the river obstacles, so it's not okay for the Russian supplies in Oleksiivka. I would say that they are staying out of the supplies, and it's just a matter of time, as I say also for Kindrativka, that Ukraine will liberate this village. That's the disaster actually for the Russian army with their Sumy operation, which they started roughly 3 months ago. Now let's go to the 3D map. This is Oleksiivka village. The Institute for the Study of War already put it in the gray zone, which is kind of the encouraging, but also here on this map I can see that still the supplies to the village are possible through the north, especially using this road which leads to this street. So on the 3D map actually we have more information. Probably it's the main road for the Russian supplies, but it's the secondary road compared to, for example, this one which goes through the village. Judging on this, I may say that Russia still has opportunities to send their infantry reinforcements to the village. As I've told you, Ukraine is attacking this village from 2 of the sides directly into the village and also trying to cut the supplies entirely. Yeah, if we switch to the satellite image on a deep state military map, you can see this road. It's the field road, it's not the main one, so main roads are over here going to Novomykolaivka, which is in the gray zone, so still the fights are ongoing there, and Oleksiivka could be already in the gray zone. Because I also have the confirmation from the North reports about Oleksiivka. They confirm that the fights are ongoing right in the village, right now, by the time I'm recording this video. So tomorrow the picture could be different, hopefully in a better way. Plus I have the information from the Russian military bloggers who confirm the difficult situation for them in Oleksiivka and that Ukraine sent way more reinforcements. They didn't expect it to happen, but we'll see how it happens. Well, I have a great hope that they will leave the village very soon. And this video is filmed by Magura Brigade. They still continue to operate on territory of the Kursk region, eliminating even Russian infantry forces on the way to reach Ukraine. It was filmed in Vesela village, that is roughly 10 kilometers away from Ukraine. It also plays a great role for our defenders to liberate villages in Sumy region because Russia has disturbances in their logistics on their own territory. My friends, if you want to support my job, you may find my Patreon link right in the video description below. Thank you so much for maintaining my motivation, especially when YouTube cancels monetization. From Sumy Oblast, let's go straight to the Pokrovsk direction. This is the town of Pokrovsk, and I have the information about the intensification of the Russian strikes from Shevchenka directly towards Pokrovsk. So Russia tries to assault, sometimes even with heavy vehicles, which is happening very rarely, but it happened, and we have the information about one of those Russian strikes, even with the drone videos. Let me show you. And this is the place where it happened. We have the information geolocation from the deep state military map source. This is the Pokrovsk town, just for you to understand. Russia tried to assault through those field roads to the nearby village and to Pokrovsk itself. And for me, it's actually a mystery why they've decided to choose this particular direction, because before they were quite successful in Zvirove. So Zvirove, there is already a presence of the Russian infantry. Russians found the weak spot in Ukrainian defense, but they attacked from this. But here, Ukraine was waiting for this attack, and let's see what happened to those Russian vehicles. They use the Hunger type of BTRs and tanks, and usually, as usual, Ukrainian FPV drones finished the job very briefly, very rapidly for Russians. They were not able to reach Ukrainian positions. But those attacks with the vehicles, they happen very rarely. They're ineffective because this is the easy target for Ukrainian FPV drones. The destiny of those vehicles to be kaputted if Russia uses those in attacks. There is no other way. The only possible scenario, like more or less good scenario for Russians, is that those vehicles go to closer to Ukrainian positions and they land the infantry forces. The infantry hide there for a long time, and for Ukraine, yeah, it's kind of the problem to get rid of that infantry, because they may hide in the tree lines, they may go to some of the ruined houses, to the basements, so try to find them and KA them. So in the future they may go further and further with those mid-wave assaults, but in 90% of the cases all of those vehicles are being kaputted on the way to reach Ukrainian positions. That's why this tactics doesn't work. So yeah, there was the attempt for Russia to move from Shevchenko, but it totally failed for them. And we have the evidence, so I have the information to show you guys how it was, how it is, with more details. The Institute for the Study of War, they took the data from the Russian channels, you see. They show this attack of the Russian army towards the central part of Pokrovsk, which is absolute delulu. There is no Russian presence in Pokrovsk itself, no. But they published it because they found it on the Russian channels, and they publish information coming from Ukraine, from Russia. Don't trust ISW, no. There's just a good reference for the 3D map, that's it. The good news about the Pokrovsk direction, that there was no Russian army movement for the last, I would say, couple of days. Yeah, the last movement was 2 days ago. For today, no any assault, and the previous one was the Russian attack towards Mikhailivka village. And here we see this map, Pokrovsk, Mirnograd, and multiple of the Russian attack vectors around. So they tried today to go from Shevchenko, they failed. From Peshana they gained the ground, but it was roughly 4 days ago. So nothing new here, and this is definitely a weak spot for Ukrainian defense. But Russians decided to attack from this a very stupid action, actually. So thank you, this Russian commander who does this terrible mistake, and Ukraine just wasted many of the Russian vehicles today. Awesome. From the geographical perspective, you can see that for Russia it would be really hard to attack crossing this water obstacle, but the main thing for them is go to Rodinske. This is the village that is must have for Russia. So far they tried to attack once, they failed with it, and there were no new attempts, but for sure they are gathering resources to attack, to try to attack Rodinsk and to get this village under control. In that case they might use it as a bridgehead to attack Pokrovsk from the north, Mirnograd, and in this case it's gonna be a very terrible situation for Ukrainian army, as you see. Where Russia also moved today is in the Torets direction, so in general you have like this pocket in Pokrovsk and the other one in Toretsk. And if we zoom into this part, you see the changes. So today Russia attacked to Yablunivka village, which is, I would say, the only village in this entire place. Yeah, it's not a very populated area. But it has, I see, some of the geographical obstacles like this big lake and some of the hills. If you check out the 3D map, you see the difference in the ground level here and this lake. So yeah, it's not that easy actually for Russia to move. But they continue to press here from all of the sides. Their main goal is to finish with Toretsk, advance further, and concentrate the efforts on Konstantinivka. And for this, they need to take Chasiv Yar and go from the Chasiv Yar to this place. But it's not working well for them, at least in Chasiv Yar for now. From Toretsk direction, let's go to Serebryhansky forest, where the news are not that good. There Russia tried to advance, and it was the successful attempt. They went just with infantry forces, and they took control over some sort of the kids' camp, which is obviously not used by kids any longer. But here it was their attack. As I said to you, it was successful. Russians showed the drone images from the place, so this is the camp out there, and Russians are presented with their infantry forces, and they even show their flags. Russians on their maps, they show this kind of the advancement that goes from this direction, and yeah, it could be like that because we saw the evidence, video evidence from the ground. Right, good news from Zaporizhia front lines. It seems like all of the Russian territorial gains are now under the question because Ukraine started the massive counter-assault towards Kamensk, and all of this area now turns to the gray zone. Ukraine tries to get rid of the Russian bridgehead because Russians, yeah, they crossed the river, this river in this place, but they had not enough time to create a robust bridgehead. This bridge is no-go, it was kaputted, so Russia doesn't have still enough robust supply lines to maintain their army on the other shore. That's why it's important for Ukraine to counterattack, not letting Russians to organize a significant bridgehead. So obviously Ukraine sent more reinforcements, and here we speak about the International Mechanical Regiment Cactus Kalinovsky. So yeah, those are mostly Belarus guys who fight for Ukrainian army. Plus we have outstanding regiment of Kraken nearby, very effective guys, 233rd Battalion, but I think they're not yet in the active fights in Kamensk, so the main part now goes for Cactus Kalinovsky. And Russians are probably attacking with the forces of 49th Air Assault Brigade, also kind of capable army of Russians. So Air Assault Brigade drones, they use very capable forces in this direction. Yeah guys, sorry we're jumping from one point of the front lines to another. Let's go now to Kamar, because also there was the update according to the Deep State military map, and not only. So yesterday and today, yeah, you saw the update. Russians are expanding the gray zone. They are going closer to this Vovcha river. Yeah, we have this update, the village of Kamar that was taken by Russian army, I think, a couple of weeks ago, something like that. And today they occupied Zeleny Gai, from what I see. Also, I got this information from the Russian channels. They were just speaking about it, but here we have the confirmation. They're getting closer to the very significant natural obstacle, river and the hill. Here, the main village is actually Ivanivka. Plus, Russians have this attack vector towards Andriivka-Koletsova, which is also kind of the big village. In the southern part, there is the risk for Voskresenka village, and I don't like this entire pocket for Ukrainian army. I hope Ukraine already moved the forces out from it. But here, Russians advance just in this small patch. Yeah, we have the confirmation from the Mykos and the street that Zeleny Gai was occupied by Russians. I think it happened maybe 2-3 days ago. And here, Maliivka, it's the new advancement of the Russian army. The new attack vector, with some of the confirmation that Russians put their flags. Russians also report about Maliivka. They show this kind of the picture. Yeah, they show the flag, and again, this is the geolocation with confirmed Russian advancement. Judging on the flag, I may say that those are the Russian Marines. About the recent update in Kupiansk, yesterday I've told you about the significant Russian advancement towards Smyrna. Well, there is the threat definitely for Kupiansk, but as for the new update, you may say that there is no movement from the Russian army. So guys, as you see, with your support, I am capable to invest more time in my channel. So I'm gonna split a little. We're gonna speak about more detailed updates coming from the front line, and also gonna tell you update about general news relative mostly to Ukraine. But I'm gonna split it, so first updates and then news. So stand by for my next video. I'm gonna release it in several hours because I haven't filmed it yet, but I have lots of the things to say. So stay tuned. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.